this isn't curable. Like, what do you think surgery is going to do for you? And that was my doctor the other day, and it was heartbreaking.
Let's have a family meeting.
Yeah.
Gosh, how long ago was it when Megan reached out to us?
I think it was January.
I don't know. Well, let's ask Megan because she's here. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Hi. So you reached, was it you DMs on Instagram? And I never look at them ever. And for some reason, I picked up my Instagram today, and there was a message from Megan, and you told me your story.
Yeah, you were on my bucket list and to meet, and I was like, let me just do this because, especially because of Alex's story, it really has touched me like incredibly. So I was like, let me just reach out. And then you reached out back, and I was at my acupuncturist office, just was relaxed, and I jumped like so high
with needles. You shouldn't be jumping with needles.
It was post acupuncture, but I was still like with her, and I jumped so high. I was so excited. It was just amazing.
Well, let me tell you a backstory. I received, and I don't have the DM with me, unfortunately, a DM from Megan saying, hey, I diagnosed stage 4 colon cancer. And you told me your story. You and Greg, Patrick, I'm sorry, God, you're not dating some guy named Greg, are you? Sorry about that, Patrick. Greg.
Should I know about Greg?
Well, surprise. So you and Patrick were on your honeymoon in Greece, I do believe. And by the way, I've been trolling your Instagram, and you guys go to some beautiful spots around the world.
Nice.
Travel is your passion. Anyway, you came back from your honeymoon, and this was just, September of last year?
It was July. We came back, and I had a little bloat, and I thought I just drank the wrong water in Greece because that can happen, and then it just spiraled from there. But at least I got to go to Greece.
You got to go to Greece. You came home, and what you thought was just bloat was...
actually fluid in my stomach because of stage 4 colon cancer.
And it also spread to ovaries, and it was making its rounds, right?
Yep.
So, had you ever experienced cancer personally, I mean, in your body, in your life, ever?
No, not personally for me. I've had aunts who've had cancer, but never me.
Isn't that how it is? We all had aunts that had it.
Yeah.
But when it hits close to home, as it did with Alex, with me, you're like, whoa. And then you and Patrick actually had to get the crash course in what this is, what it means, what you have to do. And it's mind-blowing, is it not?
Yeah, it's a lot of advocating for yourself, a lot of appointments. Luckily, we know a lot of people in the health industry that has helped. They've helped us tremendously. The reason I'm here in New York today is because of a family member who got us into Sloan Kettering literally this, we called Tuesday and we're in today.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about advocate. You have to advocate for yourself.
And Patrick, this journey for you, what's it been like?
Yeah, so the first couple of weeks I got that question a lot, like, how you doing? And the only way I could explain it was, you ever have a dream where you realize you're in a dream and you want to wake yourself up, but you can't wake yourself up? That's how this entire experience has felt since day one. It's like you're in a dream and you're like in a nightmare, basically, and you just want to wake yourself up and get out of it, and you're not getting out of it. And it's just true. You got to push through and get through it. And the best advice we've ever gotten was just take one day at a time. Everything one day at a time, and be patient, right? You want answers, you want results, you want everything to be figured out right away, and it's not going to happen like that. And you just need to realize that that's okay, and you just need to take a breath and let the process work out.
Wow. Are you okay? Those were the moments for my friends, because it was Alex that had cancer.
Yeah.
But how are you okay? I'm like, yeah, but this is Alex's thing. Yeah. Well, they're like, no, it's everyone's thing. It's everyone's thing. So for some reason, and I read this in your DM, you wanted to come visit us. I'm like, doesn't Megan have enough going on? I mean, you have a lot going on. And and there's a Jack. What is the name of the organization? Jack's.
It's Dear Jack Foundation.
Tell me about Dear Jack Foundation.
So it was founded by one of the member, Andrew from Jack's Mannequin. My aunt actually got me involved in it, and they do a lifeless program, which is because when you're a young adult, you want to do all these experiences, but Make-A-Wish isn't a thing for young adults. So Dear Jack kind of came in and made this lifeless program, which is basically like Make-A-Wish but for young adults. And I was originally you were on my list for the life list, and then going to Peloton was on my list, but then I had already reached out to you, and I was like, so I nixed that off my list, and I was able to get a Peloton experience hopefully soon. And yeah, it's just a really, really good foundation. Like,
wow.
It's a really awesome foundation. They help so many people.
Megan wants to visit us and Peloton.
The Peloton thing is cool. Us, not so much.
I like that. Well, so here you are today, and you're still on your journey.
Yeah.
And you have a way to go.
A really long way.
Right. So when you leave our studio today, you're going to the hospital. And is today chemo day?
No. So we're trying to get opinions for surgery because we were offered a really out-of-the-box surgery from Johns Hopkins because that's right in our backyard, but we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So we're going to see one of the experts at Sloan Kettering just for another opinion and possibly surgery up here, but who knows? I really don't know anymore. Every time I get my head wrapped around something, it changes. Yeah. And that's just how cancer works.
It's and hopefully it will flow out just as fast as it flew in,
Yeah.
But it's something I noticed with Alex is he got opinions from incredible physicians, doctors, scientists, and they encouraged a second opinion. They're like, we want you to go get another opinion.
I think it's very important to do that.
Well, they're not in the competition. Like, no, come on, stay with us. No. We're the best. I mean, it's a whole different mindset. Thank God, right?
Yeah. We were encouraged by every doctor we've seen to go get second opinions as well. And we were told by a family friend who's a surgeon, he said, if somebody tells you not to get a second opinion, you never go see them again.
Right.
There you go.
Wow.
Because they're not the right person.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow, that's interesting.
I know. Any thoughts? Well, hold on. You need a microphone. Here we go.
I have a question. Hi, Megan. I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
What do you say to yourself each morning to keep yourself going? Because I know for me, there would be days where I just didn't want to go on anymore. Is there something you do or say or something Patrick says that just keeps you going?
I just know that I've seen a lot of stories, and I see a lot of stories that are positive, and I think that, and they always say keep a positive mindset. So in order to get through this journey, I just keep trying to keep that positive mindset. And some days, I don't get up every morning like super happy that all this is happening, but I get up and I just know I have to go on in order to fight and win this battle. And I mean, you just see so many people who are going through cancer, and young people that are going through cancer, and I know I'm just one of many, but I just know there's stories of hope, and that's what kind of gets me up in the morning.
Kind of a weird comparison. Have you ever gone out and bought a new car? And you thought, well, not many people have that one, so I'll buy it. And then all of a sudden, everyone on the road has that car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We found that to be the same with cancer as well. And even though cancer has been surrounding us since we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. When you're going down this path with cancer, you discover how many people have it or had it or affected by it in ways it's just not talked about as much, because who wants to, every other conversation has to be about cancer, right? No one wants that. But you discover the community and all the young people, as you said, are going through it. It's a monstrous amount of people they're on the streets with us every day.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
It's scary, especially no one wants to talk about colon cancer either, and it's scary how many young people are getting it, and it's so preventable. And they even said, if I had gone to a doctor, they would have just been like, oh, it's just IBS, or they would have just put me to the wayside because I'm so young. And really, it's going around rapidly. I see more and more stories about colon cancer for young adults, and it's insane.
But this is why you were saying you have to be an advocate for yourself, where you know your body. And if something doesn't seem right and they just say, nah, and it still doesn't seem right, you have to be the one to say, no.
Yeah.
I need to. And then if that person doesn't pay attention to you, you need to go to the other doctor and keep going until someone does pay attention to you.
Yeah, and it's impossible to get a colonoscopy. People have, even in my life, have tried since I've got diagnosed, and it's really hard.
If you're young, meaning?
If you're young, to get a colonoscopy. And that's what we all need them, early on, because
it's true.
It's showing up. And they just told me it's bad luck, and that's not what I like to hear.
Bad luck?
That's what they say.
A physician said bad luck? A doctor said that?
Almost all of them have said bad luck.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Isn't it weird how cancer, when it hits the taboo portions of your body? When I was a kid, my mother had friends who had, and this is how they said it, they had breast cancer. I'm like, what, Mom, how come they're not saying breast out loud? Well, because, we just don't talk about that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then when Alex decides, ready for this, when his testicle I mean, we start talking about testicular cancer, people are like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, well, stop it.
Yeah.
And when colon cancer, it's weird. If I have arm cancer, like, oh, it's arm cancer. We can talk about that. Let's deal with that. Well, no, the body is from head to toe. We have lots of parts that can be affected.
And not talking about it makes you feel more alone and makes you stay away from actually seeking the help that you need. So for you, I know you said you were a little bit bloated when you came back from your trip. Were there other things that you noticed that made you think, okay, this is a lot more serious than just a bloat?
It was like rock solid. So I looked like I was 5 months pregnant. So actually when I went to the ER, they thought I was pregnant and they wouldn't like let that go. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. And it was insane. And I had to push and push and push. And luckily I had a cousin who is a nurse and she was like, you need a CT scan. Like you need to get this done. You need to push for it. And so I pushed for it. And that's when they found everything and they diagnosed me wrong. But it was just insane the amount of like pressure I had to put on just to get something, and because they don't believe you.
And when you say that you pushed for it, for other people who might not know how to do that, what did you do?
I just kept saying it. I was like, I need a CT scan. My cousin's saying it. My cousin's a nurse. She says I need a CT scan, and they were like, well, we'll just give you a blood test. And I was like, no, I need a CT scan. And I was like, I need this. So they took a long time to do it, and they were convinced I was pregnant, so they made me take a pregnancy test before I even got anything done, and like put me on this weight. So it was a lot, and it's hard to advocate for yourself when you're so young and you don't know what's going on and you just think that you ate something wrong or something, but it was just not going away. And the second that I couldn't do yoga anymore or like Peloton was hard, like I was like, yeah, there's something wrong. And
this is troubling. Okay. This is very, very troubling.
Very.
I mean, for anyone and everyone. By the way, I'm going to ask you the awful question that women don't like to be asked. How old are you? What's your age?
I'm 33.
33. But so this all started when you were in your 32, 31 years old.
I'm 33 still, and I got diagnosed when I was 33, and I'll be 34 next month. So
see, this is how fast this thing has rolled through. Mm-hmm. But it is troubling to know that you go to people because you think they have the answers. They went to the school, they have the training, so obviously they know what they're saying, and then they tell you what their prognosis is, and you're thinking, I don't think you're right, and there's an inner conflict. You're like, well, I should trust them and just back off. I'll just tiptoe out at the back door, and I don't want to cause any trouble. Well, you know what? This is your life, and this is Patrick's life. These are your lives. You've got to cause trouble, Yeah. You have to. You have to be an advocate for yourself.
I sat next to my babysitter when she was 22 years old, and I heard the doctor say to her, yeah, that lump just came out of nowhere. It's probably absolutely nothing. Don't even worry about it. And it was one of the most aggressive cancers that she could have had. And if she hadn't pushed, they probably would have ignored her, just like you. And she's doing great now. But it was, they just were like, nah, it's nothing. You're young.
Right.
Great.
In another example, Froggy, he's over here. He's in Jacksonville. Froggy, of course. Go ahead, Frog. What were we going to say?
So back in 2010, I had a brain tumor, and I went to a doctor. And I had done a lot of Googling, and I know a lot of doctors don't like when you Google and you find out information. But I went in with the name of a disease that I thought I had. And when I went there, she said, I've been practicing for 25 years. I've never seen anybody with that. I don't think that's what you have. And I was so set on that's what I had. And I finally pushed for the correct test, and I finally got approved for that test. And it is exactly what I had. And so you're exactly right. You're your own best advocate. You know your body better than anybody, and you have to push until you get an answer.
Wow.
And you have to be honest. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, with my dad, he passed away from something that was very rare, that to this day they don't know a lot about it. But I think he lied when he went to the doctors, and they'd ask him how he felt, and he would be like, yeah, I'm fine. And then when he'd see us, he wasn't fine. So you have to be honest when you go to the doctor's office and tell them everything that's going on, how you're feeling.
Exactly.
And, take care of yourself.
You know what? And this is where our problem comes from.
Yeah.
Our parents, our grandparents. I'll tell you what. I know my parents. My dad could have his arm just fall off in the middle of the street. He'd go, oh, no problem. He'll look, hold it on. No, look, it's all good.
I got another one.
I'm like, Dad. And they come from that generation where they don't want to be in imposition. They don't want to, okay, Dad, your head just rolled down the street. Maybe we should see someone. And, but the thing is that no, don't worry about me. No. And I think some of that thinking has rolled off into us where, we're at the time now where we can say what we feel and be smart about it and be cool about it, but you got to be forward with it. And you were. And you still are.
Yeah.
So what's next?
I don't even know anymore. I
Right.
feel like I was one week it was you're going to do maintenance chemo, and now the next week it's like, oh, we have this out of the box surgery because you are so young. But now we're having surgeons say, I don't know if that's a good idea. And that's been really hard. It's been a really tough week. You get a lot of blunt doctors, and you get doctors who will just be like, oh, this isn't curable. Like, what do you think surgery is going to do for you? And that was my doctor the other day, and it was heartbreaking. And
Not curable?
Yeah.
Now,
And,
what's it like hearing that?
I had to leave the room.
Yeah.
I couldn't even stay in the room. It was so bad, and it just broke me, and it started making me feel hopeless, and that's not what I want to feel. Right. And that was really hard.
You know, Megan, since we started this interview, I cannot tell you how many people have been texting in saying they were diagnosed as stage 4 colon cancer as well, and they're either in remission or it's done. So for someone to say, and I know all cancers, even colon cancers, are unique. I understand that.
Yeah.
But not curable, that's not even an answer.
Yeah. It was
that's
a
not an
rough
answer.
one. He was older, and he was set in his ways, and I don't even think he looked at my chart or anything, and it was just heartbreaking. Like, it actually broke me, and it was really hard because I've never had a doctor say that to me. Like, everyone has been hopeful and has given me hope, and we used to go into rooms like saying, hey, like, don't give me any prognosis or anything, and now we stopped saying that. And then, of course, the one time we don't say it, this guy just kind of breaks me. And so it's been a rough week. It's been a lot of crying this week, if I'm being honest. So this is making up for it.
Right.
Like tenfold. I have no idea how to explain how happy I am, but
It's just an honor to have you here. But okay, next chapter. Ready for this? Once this is in your rearview mirror, and it's hard to think about it when you're in the middle of it, right? The thick of it. Once this is in the rearview mirror, I must assume from trolling on your Instagram, you guys will be hopping back on airplanes. You'll be flying around the world. You'll be pumping Peloton bikes at different.
She's going to be an instructor at Peloton.
Have you ever? Is it way too early, way too premature to start thinking about how your feelings about life are going to be different in the future? Are you starting to see shades of that, like little glimpses in the fog, a little bit?
yeah, it like completely changes you. I mean, I'm only 33, and I just already think about how I want to help more people instead of like, I'm an accountant and it's great. Like, it's a great job. I love numbers and everything, but I'm starting to realize that I just want to help people. Like, my job doesn't help people, and I want to be that person that helps someone who's going through the same thing. And even that's why I shared my story on Instagram. I was super private about it at first because, I mean, I didn't want anyone to know. But I wanted to get back to my yoga studio, and I was like, I'm just going to share my story. And I can't tell you how many people, like, I'm not that popular on Instagram. And so many people reached out to me either with their own cancer stories that I would never know, or they thanked me for allowing them to use me as an example to go get tests. And it's just been incredible. Like, it's the amount of support that just comes out of the woodwork on everything. And I just want to be that person for other people, like, in the future. And that's really where I want to go. Like, it's a whole new, like, release on life. Like,
Good. You know, and it's also about community. People want to be a part of the community, people who are experiencing the same thing, either themselves or with their loved ones. And look, Megan, you know, I'm so happy that you chose to land here before you go to your next big meeting, which could be the meeting that changes everything. You know, we don't know yet. And Patrick, the fact that you came in here and put up with us as well is pretty good, pretty nice.
he puts up with you every morning. You just don't know it. I
Sorry
listen to
about
the
that.
replay channel every single day.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
We don't get it in Maryland. We don't get you guys live in Maryland. So I have to listen to the replay channel every day.
We got to fix that.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Any
you.
final thoughts? Oh,
I'm just so happy to meet you. And so, you know, after we've been talking for so much, you know, on Instagram, it's so nice to finally meet you in person.
I know, this is truly amazing. It was actually, like, I wrote a bucket list, and that's the most important thing. Everyone should have a bucket list. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not. Just write everything you want to do down. And I put you down, like,
The top.
yeah, almost immediately.
I-
Just because you guys have been so important. And even Alex's story with the Warrior song, that changed everything. Like, I would listen to that all on the way to chemo every single day on repeat, and it helped so much. So I appreciate him as well.
I think that you
Thank
are
you.
Yeah.
already doing what you want to do after you get through this, which is helping people. Because again, looking at the text messages, I think you've already hit a ton of people who are saying, I need to go get checked. I'm going to go get checked. I'm going to advocate for myself and follow through on things that they thought were maybe a dead end. So you're already doing it. Good job.
Thank you.
Very important. That's really one of the most incredible things you share with us is you got to fight for your right to party. Hey, you got to fight for your right to get the answers that you need, and you just can't believe just because they went to medical school doesn't mean they have the answers.
Yeah.
And we just automatically assume they do. They don't always have them. So these second, third, fourth opinions, get a dozen opinions. What the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You learn so much along the way. Megan and Patrick, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing.
Good luck today.
Thank you so much.
And there's no better place to feel peace and be one with nature than here in New York City.
Right.
With the garbage on the street.
Enjoy the smog.
The smell of urine alone should be a healing property. But thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
And have a beautiful day.